I'm going to do a very quick demo on lines and shapes and how I make purchasing decisions because I did a video like this earlier and people seem to like that. So, okay, this is the cost top that a lot of people love. But for me, it doesn't work because of the lines and shapes. And I'll tell you why. I like a lot about this. I like that the pattern is beautiful. It feels really good. It's high quality, but I'm not going to keep it. I'm not going to keep it because one thing that I know about myself is I like my shoulders to feel broad. What that means is I either like something like a racer back tank where it cuts off like this, or I like a slouchy shoulder, or I like a padded shoulder because all of those things make my shoulders look broad. This one is making my shoulders feel constricted instead of broad, and I'll tell you why. Look at the seam. Do you see how the seam hits before my shoulder ends? Do you see this? So because it ends here, it kind of is giving the illusion that my shoulder ends here, which makes it look narrower. But this part, this is like my shoulder joint is right here. The bone is here. This is still my shoulder. This is still my shoulder. So this just looks, my arm kind of look, it's being squeezed in. Can you tell? Because of where the seam is. Now look, I'll show you the difference. If the top was a little bit like this, can you tell the difference? Do you see how this shoulder looks bigger than this shoulder just by extending the seam? This is a real thing. You can tell visually, right? You can tell visually how different this looks from this. And if I do it on both sides, if I just extend the seam, can you tell? My shoulders look so much better here, so much broader than the top. Now, the problem is it's not going to stay like that because that's not how the top is constructed. So I'm not going to keep it because it's, even if I stretch it to bring it here, it's going to come back to this. Or the other thing that could have worked if it was a raglan sleeve. Like, this is definitely not going to stay like this. But imagine if the seam was like this. Again, same thing. Can you tell the difference between the two shoulders? Because because the seam goes in, now this is broader, which I prefer. So if the seam was going in, I would have been okay. If the seam was here, I would have loved this. But the seam is just kind of in between and it doesn't work for my shoulders. I don't like how this looks. It makes me look like I'm trying to squeeze my shoulders in. So this is just a quick demo of lines and shapes and how you can make better purchasing decisions if you understand your body, what lines you prefer, and how clothing impacts that lines. I will do some other demos because I know so far I've only talked about shoulders and neckline. So I'm happy to do other stuff too. But the lesson that you can take away from this is look at your favorite tops. Maybe let's just talk about necklines and shoulders. Look at your favorite tops and look at which ones you like and why you might like them. So look for common themes. For example, maybe you prefer your shoulders to look smaller. I like mine to look bigger, but maybe you like them to look smaller. So a top like this might actually work really well for you. Find those themes, and then when you make those purchasing decisions, look at, does it have the same quality that you always go for, that you like to see in your clothes? And if not, then just don't keep it, just return it. There's going to be another top down the line at some point that has a pattern like this, is great, has great fabric, but is not doing this weird shoulder thing for me, right? So you'll find something that is perfect. Don't make compromises in what you keep. So again, if you just dialed in, I'll show you one more time and then I'll end this video. I know it was a very short one. Unless anyone has questions, feel free to ask. So I'm not going to keep this because the shoulder seam hits me in the middle. It makes my shoulders look smaller and I prefer my shoulders to look broader. That does not mean I only buy one kind of top. What that means is I either buy things where the seams go in, so my shoulder looks bigger, or it's a draped shoulder, so my shoulders look bigger or have room. Basically, it accommodates my shoulders, or it is a padded shoulder, so it makes my shoulders look bigger. So again, why isn't it? Can you see? Is it just me? It's so much nicer if the seam was here, but instead it cuts me off. So it goes back. Hopefully this was helpful. It was very short, I know, but just wanted to quickly show you how I make purchasing decisions. Bye. Have a good evening.